Hello everyone, this is Gen Z Talks bringing you another video. This one is on universal healthcare versus American privatized healthcare and why universal healthcare is better. But first, to understand healthcare, we need to understand how insurance works. Because in America, we use privatized insurance for the most part. Other than privatized insurance, there's Medicare for the people that are senior citizens, Medicaid for the poor, and universal healthcare for the veterans. But we need to know how insurance works, since that is the key to understanding healthcare. Insurance works in a way that the guy at the top who's selling you insurance tells you need to pay a certain price, whether it be through premiums, deductible, copay, whatever, usually through yearly premiums. And from there, they use a bunch of risks and they collect a lot of money from other people. And then from there, all that money is pooled in to then pay for whoever gets injured or hurt or if there's an accident, whether this be for car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, whatever. It's all runs the same way. All the money's pooled in from the bottom to the top, and when someone gets into an accident, the money from the top is used to insure or pay some of the costs. Not all, but some of the costs. Now that's how insurance works. Now, how does American healthcare, privatized healthcare work? So America, you pay your yearly premiums, which is the yearly fee. Then you have things like co-insurance, deductibles, and co-payments. Co-payments is what you have to pay when you visit the doctor every single time. These things add up, so you end up paying a lot more than what was expected through the regular premium. Just keep that in mind. Now, how does the single-payer healthcare system work? Since if you don't understand, this is how it works.
We have. You can think of the American healthcare system as a series of tubes. We do not have single-payer healthcare. We have thousands and thousands of payer healthcare, and each of them typically pay different amounts for the exact same medical service. And that's a lot of administrative work. For every 3 doctors in the United States, you have 2 billing staff standing behind them, just handling all that paperwork that comes in and out of a doctor's office. If you think of a single payer system, it is just one tube of payments. All money flows from the government to the doctors. And it's actually pretty popular elsewhere. Medicare here in the US is like that. It pays all the healthcare bills for people over 65. But there's also a catch. When the government is the one paying all the bills, they get to decide what they will and will not pay for. If the system isn't funded well enough, if they haven't raised enough taxes from their citizens, that could lead to longer wait times and fewer doctors being available. Vermont right now is trying to set up the very first single-payer healthcare system in the United States. By one estimate, Vermont could save 25%, but it's also expensive. The state government in Vermont needs to raise $2 billion. That is a lot of maple syrup. But people really dislike the American healthcare system. It gets pretty poor marks from Americans. And if you look at neighboring Massachusetts, their healthcare experiment in 2006 did lead to Obamacare. So if this does work in Vermont, who knows what could be next?
So that's how the single-payer healthcare system works in comparison to the American system. Now, as you can tell, you already know that America is not one of the best countries in healthcare. But these are. According to the World Population Review, the top 2 countries are France and Italy. You keep going down, it's mostly Asian and European countries. Singapore, Spain, Japan, Norway, Portugal, Monaco, Greece, Netherlands, UK, Germany, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Canada as stated in the video, Denmark, Costa Rica, and United States is number 37. We are the only major developed country in the world that does not give universal health care. And we are the worst out of all the developed nations when it comes to healthcare, as we are ranked number 37. That is pretty abysmal. Now, in addition to being a universal insurance system, single-payer / universal healthcare actually costs less. According to Business Insider, a Medicare For All system, as stated by Bernie Sanders, is the same thing as universal health care. It would actually save $303 billion and would insure more than 30 million Americans. And in addition to that, it would save more than 68,000 lives, according to the Washington Post. So it costs less and It costs less and it would actually save more lives. That's the good stuff. But now, here comes the counter arguments. The first one being, I don't want to pay for other people's health care. Well, silly, you already are. Medicare for all? No thanks. I don't want to pay for other people's health care. I like private insurance, where I pay for other people's health care and for the salaries of blood-sucking middlemen whose entire purpose is telling me no when I need medicine. You're already paying for other people's health care with insurance. That's what I just stated in the video. That's how insurance works. They pool all the money from the bottom, and then when someone gets injured, they pay as much as they want to, essentially, certain price. They pay to get as much reduced, the debt to be reduced. That's how it works. This is insurance. Insurance works this way. Medicare for All is just a cheaper version of it. Medicare for All saves more money, it reduces costs, and it insures more people. Now the next one, this is a big one by conservatives. Oh, it's going to increase wait times. Well, actually, no. It's been debunked many times, according to Center for American Progress. It's been debunked. And in the Atlantic, it's also been debunked. You can find the sources right here. But not to mention, we spend more on each person for healthcare, but we get worse healthcare compared to everybody else. That is not good. We spend more and we get less out of it. Like, look at this. More, everybody gets better than us. In fact, Americans now spend twice as much on healthcare as they did in the 1980s. So let's get this straight. You know how insurance works, so that's the good part. We know how single-payer healthcare system works. It's a one singular insurer. So that way, everyone, or at least most people, will get insured. Obviously, not everyone will, because it's not realistically possible, but it is possible. We're 37th in healthcare, and the Medicare for All in America, if ran, would insure more than 30 million people, save over $300 billion, and would save more than 68,000 lives. Universal healthcare has actually does better than the privatized system. Now, there's different types of healthcare as stated. There's the American system, which is a mixed system. There's Medicare, which is the government insurance for the old people. The Medicaid, which is the insurance for the disabled. Universal healthcare for the military veterans. And then the privatized healthcare that everyone gets from their workplace. Now, there's different types of universal healthcare. Single payer is the insurance system. That's one part of universal healthcare. That's what I'm advocating for. Another one is nationalized, meaning the government actually runs the hospitals. You see, in single payer, the government does not run the hospitals. Instead, the government just takes control. It's the government is the insurance. Obviously, you could choose private insurance if you want to, but think about it like this. The government is in the insurance, and it reduces your costs. Well, yes, you do have to pay a little bit higher taxes, but you have to realize is that despite you paying higher taxes, you don't have to pay the co-pays, the deductibles, the premiums, none of that. So you'd actually be paying less. While yes, you're paying higher in taxes, statistically speaking, you're paying in higher taxes, but you're actually paying less in healthcare, and you're getting more benefits too. So there's the single payer, which I was advocating for, and the nationalized, where the government actually runs the hospitals. Now, I'm not really into the nationalized, as it can get very tricky. Think of it like this. A nationalized system would work very well if it was extremely well funded. Like, the DMV is essentially a government-run system. That is what nationalized healthcare is. But that in the sense that the DMV is not very well funded. The single-payer healthcare relies on funding. That's the thing, yeah. That's why it's said that it can cost a lot of money. But that's the thing. You're relying on nationalized healthcare is more of a gamble, while single-payer is just one insurance system. You can rely on the privatized companies to do your procedures. So let's put it this way. In America, you have your insurance card, right? You can only go to certain hospitals like PAMP or Kaiser Permanente, you cannot go to the others like Stanford, etc., etc. With universal healthcare, single payer, You can go to whoever you want to, whatever hospital, whichever doctor, and no premium, no deductible, no copay, none of that. You're paying less. You got to choose your doctor. Quote by Obama, ironically. But you got to choose your doctor. Your health care would not go up, but you'd be getting more for cheaper. This is a win-win for everybody. You insure more people, you save more money, and America would be great. Thank you.